Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to MLM Keys Radio. This is episode 2, where today we'll be talking about the power of publishing. Do people know who you are? Let's get it. Yo, what's poppin', guys? Welcome to the show. You're blessed and highly favored. I hope you've had a great day so far. So check this out, right? When I first got to school in college, sorry for the background noise. When I first got to school, I was green. I'm a freshman. I'm 18 years old, coming from a small town, Leander, Texas. No facial hair. If anybody sees me now, you're like, "You had no facial hair?" Yeah, I had no facial hair. When I was 18, I had like the long sideburns. Oh my gosh. I was skinny. But anyways, right? So we had our first game coming up, and so we drive to Mystic, Connecticut, and this is where the Mohegan Sun's at. Is this big time casino, right? That everybody who's in Connecticut, probably like the most monumental thing in Connecticut. I don't really know, but anyways, right? So it's a statewide showcase where all the teams in Connecticut come to, and we play against each other. I did it every year, right? So this year was at Mohegan Sun, and I'd never been in anything that big, like any arena that big, right? Ever. That's a lie. Actually, I was at Kansas State actually when I did a tournament at Kansas State. That was a pretty big arena. But as far as like in my actual college career, that was the first time I was ever in something that big, some arena that big. So I remember walking in through the tunnel, and I'm just like looking at this big, bro. I think it seats like maybe 14,000 plus seats, right? And I'm just like, dog, I've made it. I'm here. You feel me? Like it had that aura. I mean, man, like the stands were kind of dark, but all the lights were on the court, and it's just like heaven. It was just there, right? I'm like, bruh, I've made it. So I'm nervous but hyped to play my first game. So the day before the game, we usually have film. We usually have film like 3 days before each game, like intensely. But the day before is like just an overview, right? So the other times doing film, I didn't have to speak at all. And I was like, okay, this is how it goes. The day before the game, though, things change. So we all come down to the ballroom, at the hotel. Coach is going through the first couple of pages in the scouting report. And it's like, like a brief overview, like, the offense is this, defense is this, watch out for these traps, watch out for this play, yada, yada, yada. So I'm thinking it's like an everyday scouting report, like nothing's really changed. Until he starts calling out names. He's like, Andres. And he was our starting point guard. He was like, Andres, read number 5. I'm like, oh no, he's calling us out to read out loud. I was like, dog. Because remember, y'all, I'm introverted, right? Especially at 18, I just didn't. I was scared to speak. I just didn't want to speak, man. I'm 18. I'm green. I'm in a room of grown men. I'm in a room of grown men, bro. I don't want to say nothing, right? The confidence was low when it came to communication, but when it came to action, when it came to basketball, I'm your guy. I'm a guy about action. I'm about that action, boss. But when it came to actually speaking, I was like, oh, I shrink. So, anyways, right? So I'm praying he don't call on me, right? I'm like, dog, God, please, I don't want to read right now, man. Like, give me a couple of weeks where I'm more comfortable, right? God don't work like that. God puts you into the fire quick. He's like, okay, figure it out. Figure it out, right? So anyways, I'm praying that he don't pick me. So he's going from senior to junior to sophomore. Starts picking out some freshmen. I'm like, bro, how many players does Sacred Heart have? I thought like we should be done by now, right? So lo and behold, he picks me. My stomach drops. My heart's in my stomach, right? I'm like, oh God, why? So he's like, Mark, read number 32. I kid you not. This is how it sounded. This is how it sounded, y'all. Hold on. This is how it sounded. Number 32, left-handed, standstill shooter, crashes hard to the offensive boards. So make sure you box out. I sounded just like that. Hella weak. Super weak. I felt people's stares, yo. I felt like the eyes, I just felt them. Like, I felt, it was like, yo, you are 6'6". Why you sound like that? Like, that was what was going through people's minds, right? So, anyways, I get through number 32. I'm like, whew, I'm done, right? I'm thinking I did a good job. I thought I did pretty good for my first time reading out loud in front of grown men, right? Before the first game of the year. So I remember film was over and we get into the elevator. We all like crushed into the elevator. There's no COVID regulations back then. It was like, if the elevator, has 6 people or a 6-person limit, you put 10 people in there, right? It didn't matter. So we stuff ourselves inside, and the doors close. How the elevators have those 2-sided doors, and they close. As soon as it shuts, everybody look at me. Yo, what was that? Yo, you sound like a little girl. Put some bass in your voice. Say with your chest. Like, people was going in on me, right? They going in. And I'm like, dog, 1, was it that bad? Dang. But 2 was like, man, I thought I did a good job. And apparently I'm a weak communicator. Mark, what does that have to do with MLM? Like, where's the story going? It's a good story, but where's it going? Do people know you exist? Do people know you exist? Are you the 18-year-old version of me who was scared to speak, who's scared to let people know who they are? Right? See, like, a lot of people, and I struggled with this as well when I first started in this industry. A lot of people struggle when it comes to getting new recruits and selling the product because they just simply won't talk. Like, they simply won't speak, but not to speak about the product and opportunity. That is not what I mean. What I mean is letting people know who you are. Do people know who you are? Do people know what you're about? Right? Outside of MLM, outside of your business. Because people don't join the company, y'all. Let's get that straight. People don't join the company. People join you. Cliche. You probably heard that before, I'm sure. I'll say it again. People don't join the company, right? Because we can get so wrapped up in how great the company is. Like, oh, the product is this, the opportunity is this. Oh, you're gonna have so much, blah, blah. Bruh, people don't care about that. At the end of the day, like, if there's a hierarchy, like, the company itself is not number one. I can guarantee you that, right? But we can get so caught up in what's known as in the internet marketing world, in the funnel world, right, is technobabble. Mark, what's technobabble? I got you. Technobabble, adjust this mic real quick. Technobabble is, for instance, if someone messages you or is interested in your product and opportunity, right? They're like, oh, it's mainly women in MLM, so I'll use a girl's name. Amy, I'm interested in your product. Can you tell me more information about it? Instead of coming at that question with, well, first off, what are you looking to gain out of this product, right? That should be the first question we should ask. Instead, we're like, oh my gosh, this product will change your life. It has these herbs and spices and vitamins and minerals and botanicals, and it comes from this forest, and we got this doctor on the team who does this and that. We get so crazy about the actual specifics of the product itself that we lose a sale. People are like, oh, never mind, and slowly back away. Like, we can get so caught up in that, and believe me, I've done that before. Because I'm a science guy, right? Guys, I'm going for my PhD in cognitive psychology, right? So understand that as much as I'm an MLM, I'm a science guy. I'm based on evidence. Like, evidence speaks to me, right? So don't come to me with like some theory. I need evidence, right? So I'm big on like, okay, this is how this works, and this is how this works. But when it comes to MLM, when it comes to marketing, I have to remove that side of my brain. I can't use that side because people don't care about none of that. Not to start, at least. Not to start. How has the product affected you? Have you told people your story? Mm, that is so vulnerable, or not, well, yes, vulnerable is very important, but that is so powerful. That's the word. Your story is so powerful. What was your life like prior to the product or prior to the opportunity? What was your life like while using the product and opportunity? What's your life like afterward? What is your story? Why are you in this thing? Do people know that? Long dramatic pause. Do people know that? You feel me? Like, how can we expect people to want to join us if they don't even know why we're doing what we're doing? Are you being timid about the opportunity? Do you not believe in it? Right? If you don't believe in the opportunity or product, you're in the wrong MLM. You're in the wrong MLM. And guys, I've been a part of multiple MLMs, right? And I was chasing the check instead of chasing. Don't get it twisted. The check is very important, but you gotta also like the product, yo. You know, and the MLMs that I was a part of, I just didn't really like the product like that. It didn't really matter, right? Do people know what you're doing though? Do people know why you're doing it? So what that does, and that what that forces you to do is it forces you to be vulnerable. And that was really hard for me. Like, I'm a 6'6", 240 Nigerian male in America. Emotions wasn't taught to me, especially as an athlete in a guy's locker room. We don't talk about no emotions. We talk about a whole lot of other stuff that I will not say, right? Excuse me. Whole lot of other stuff, guys. Um, so when it came to being vulnerable, that was like, uh, I don't know the word to say. Like, it just was foreign to me. I just didn't know how to do that. Even like when it came to a relationship or to my parents or just to people in general, I didn't know how to be vulnerable. So I understand like people's struggle when it comes to actually being vulnerable and allowing, especially people to know who you are, whether it be through podcasting or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, whatever medium you choose to, let people know who you are. It's not easy to be vulnerable. It's not, but it's necessary if you want to get people to relate to you, to know, like, and trust you, right? Because when you begin to be vulnerable, what that does is it builds confidence. It really does, like when you're vulnerable, it builds confidence because now it's like, okay, well, that was an insecurity I let people know, but you'll come to see that people, like once they find out what you're vulnerable or what your insecurities are, what like your faults are, just your negatives as a human being, they'll come around that like, you know what? So am I. I don't know. I don't know. I don't close the cap on the toothpaste neither. Sorry, hit the mic. I don't, like me either. Like, I don't know. When you let people know who you are, you'll see people gravitate towards you, right? But in order to make that happen, people gotta know who you are, yo. You gotta allow people to have a peek into your world a little bit. Not the whole thing, but a sliver, right? But on top of that, right? So that's part one, right? Being vulnerable, allowing people to know who you are, putting your story out there, why you're doing what you're doing. But the second part, which is very, very key, and I know a lot of you guys have heard this before, I already know, but I'm going to reiterate it. You have to be of value. Mark, we know, I know it's cliche, but a lot of people don't even know what value really means though. You know what I'm saying? People don't know what value means, guys. All value is value, not some dictionary word. Value, when it comes to the marketplace, is solving legitimate problems. That's what value is, solving legitimate problems. If you are not solving legitimate problems on a consistent basis, people will not know, like, and trust you enough to want to join your opportunity, join your MLM, join your business, buy your product. right? If you're not adding value. So then, like, the next question we should be asking is, okay, so how do I add value, Mark? And like, guys, believe me, I'm no guru. I'm no like, grand shogun, yo. I'm not, I'm no teacher. Well, I'm teaching what I'm doing, but I'm no like guru, right? I'm no master at this. But I'm just telling you guys what I've had to learn on my own. We're in this journey together. We together. You know what I'm saying? We together, right? So, but when it comes to value and adding or solving legitimate problems, how we do that is you need to ask the market. You need to ask the market. Ask them what? What are they struggling with? What are people struggling with, yo? If you don't know that, find out. You need to find out. Because when you come from a place of love, right? Not from like trying to get followers and like, oh, well, I'll just Google some stuff and look at the top, few links and just put it in my words and just put it on the, on social media or the internet. That's not what I'm saying. When you actually know what people are going through, what they're struggling with, and are able to then solve that problem in a way that where you're actually doing research, you're actually looking at the people who've already solved that problem, like multiple of them, right? You're creating content in your own words from people who've already done it, and then putting it out in the marketplace in your words, with your swag, with your vulnerability. When you're doing that on a consistent basis, you begin to have you'll begin to attract people to you. Because people are starting to know, like, and trust you because they see that you're solving legitimate problems. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense, right? Like, so like, we have to do this. We got to do this if we want to be able to get into like the X's and O's and techniques and methods and strategies when it comes to internet marketing. It starts from here. It starts from publishing, guys. You think I'm doing this podcast for nothing? Like, I actually kind of enjoy it, of course, but it's to solve legitimate problems. It's to add value to the marketplace. Okay? Now, again, I never thought I'd do it this way, but I'm doing it. Whatever, It's uncomfortable, but whatever, right? It's growth. But we can't be in a shell if we want to have success in this industry. We just can't. We need to be out there. People need to know who we are. And in a good way. not dancing and doing all the posting half naked pictures on Instagram or doing all this other stuff that people think is marketing. No, all you're doing is like being a walking billboard. All you're doing is really just promoting your product and opportunity. You're not marketing. We're a multi-level marketing, not multi-level promoting. Okay. Marketing starts from changing beliefs. Excuse me. But you can't change beliefs. And people won't believe you when it comes to changing their beliefs if people don't know you. So it's two-part, guys. It's twofold. People need to know who you are. So be vulnerable and be consistent in your vulnerability. But it's also adding consistent value, solving legitimate problems in the marketplace. When you combine those two things on a consistent basis and you do that for a year, right? Because people want instant gratification. A year. When you do that for a year, I haven't done this podcast this is my second episode, but I plan on doing this for a year. Watch what happens to your life. I've seen too many people who have been consistent with publishing, with their vulnerability, with adding value. I've seen too many people, lives change simply from adding value on a consistent basis for 1 year. Success leaves clues, y'all. I'd be a fool not to do the same. And no disrespect, but you would be too. Okay? So don't be 18-year-old Mark who's scared to speak and scared to, oh, I don't know. Coach, please don't pick me. Don't be like that. Be someone who is uncomfortable but has courage enough to be out there. And like guys, believe me, when you first do this, it won't be good. If you're really good at like publishing and being vulnerable and adding consistent value, kudos to you. You're a beast. Most of us aren't. I wasn't. Like before I did podcasting, I was on my Instagram story a lot. I spoke a lot. So like doing it in this format really isn't that much of a difference for me. So I feel like I'm it's a pretty smooth transition for me. But when it comes to like the regular person or just anybody who hasn't really been consistent when it comes to speaking on camera, at least for podcasting, or on social media as well, it's difficult. But understand, again, do this for a year. Put yourself out there and see who comes to you. When I dropped that snippet on my Instagram of this podcast, it's like a 3-minute video, the response I got was crazy. Now, like for the regular person, that might not be like, 1,000 views might not be a lot, but it was for me, especially when it came to this type of subject, because it's such a aura around multi-level marketing. But I just put that out there and people responded like great, which gave me confidence. But I wouldn't have known people were actually struggling with that had I not, one, asked, but actually put out the content. Because now it gives me confidence to put out more content, right? So again, guys, I know it's a daunting task, and it can be, but if you really want to change your life, it starts, one, with allowing people to know who you are, being vulnerable, and two, putting out consistent content through publishing on a consistent basis. So whether that be podcasting 1 to 3 times a week, posting every day on Instagram, and but with valuable content in the caption, not just like, oh, live my best life. Put actual content, put value in the what's it called? In the caption, put actual value in there, guys. Because as much as I just said posting half naked on Instagram isn't marketing, Instagram can be used as a marketing tool. Understand that when it's used right. But, showing your junk through your boxers is not marketing. Let's just keep a stack on here, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like showing this slim fit bikini with your product next to you is not marketing. That's like, it's just not. I'll go to war with anybody on that. So it's not, right? But here on this show, we're talking about marketing techniques. But it starts with being consistent with your publishing, being consistent with your vulnerability, and being consistent when it comes to putting value out in the marketplace and solving legitimate problems. So, guys, that is the show. I appreciate you getting on and listening to your voice speak. And I can't wait to see you on the next show. Well, not see you physically, obviously, but I can't wait to put out the next show and just keep putting out content and keep doing practicing what I preach, which is just putting out consistent value through what I'm learning. So, guys, God bless. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Peace.